Good morning, Force followers. How are you? Happy Thursday. I am going to wait a couple seconds to see if anybody hops on, and then we will get started. Pull up my comments, take a sip of water. All right. Well, happy Thursday. If you're here live with me, please give me a thumbs up. I want to know who's here. And my name is Brittany Arduini, and I'm the director of Houston Force Volleyball Club. I host Force TV here every Thursday morning right here on Facebook. I talk about all things volleyball. We're currently in our first season of Force TV, and this is episode 2. And in our first season, we're going to be talking about all things recruiting. So last week in our first episode, we spoke with a new friend of mine, Kara Hill, and she is the owner of myrecruitingsolutions.com. And we talked to her about her 5 tips on how to get the process of recruiting started. And so you can find that either here on my Facebook feed of the Houston Force Facebook feed, or you can actually go over to our YouTube channel, Houston Force VB, and watch all of our Force TV episodes that we've already had. You can find the one with Kara Hill and figure out those 5 tips to getting started with your recruiting process. So feel free to hop over to YouTube after this and subscribe to our channel. And yeah, we'll get started. So if you're watching this on the replay, could you please comment #replay? If you're here live, can you comment hello or hi or what you guys are excited about for this weekend? I'd like to interact with you. So first, I'd like to take a moment to thank Raising Cane's for being Houston Force's sponsor this year. I don't know if you love chicken tenders as much as I do, or their cane sauce, but this Raising Cane's is by far my favorite fast food joint. So if you're ever feeling like chicken strips and some of the best sauce in town, head over to Raising Cane's at Mason or Fry Road and enjoy. All right, so let's get talking about athlete resume. That's today's episode. We're going to talk about the athlete's resume for recruiting. I know, and if you go back and watch Kara's interview with me last week, I know that she said that recruiting resumes are kind of a waste of time. But you know what? I have to disagree. And you know what? That's okay. We can disagree on those things. She does things her way, and I do things my way. A lot of what we believe overlap, but I do believe in the athlete resume. So, athlete resume can help you tell the story. She mentioned starting your own marketing campaign, which I 100% agree with. But the one thing I think, taking the time to sit down and put all the information that you would put on an athlete resume, like sitting down and actually doing it, helps you come up with your campaign story, in my opinion. So I'm a big advocate of sitting down, taking the time, the 30 to 45, maybe an hour, depending on how savvy you are with Word or Pages on Mac. But sitting down and having all that information in one place can help you come up with your marketing campaign to sell you and who you are as an athlete. So this is why I'm going to teach you about the athlete resume. Good morning, Latoya. How are you? All right, so I believe that coaches sometimes want to be able to print your athlete resume as well. I don't know about you. I'm the kind of person that likes to write things down with pen on paper. And I believe that there are still coaches out there that are the same way. So if they get an email from you with your athlete resume, then they're willing or not willing, they're able to print it, right? And so if they make a folder on their desk for every athlete they're recruiting, they probably want to put some of your information in there. And I believe having it all in one spot, looking prettier than if they went onto your recruiting profile on whatever website you use for your recruiting and printing that, they're going to, have something that one, you sat down and made. so that says something. And then 2, it probably looks 10 times better than whatever that profile says online, the formatting at least. And so every time they open up your folder and they see a picture of you and the resume with all the information necessary, they're going to be like, man, that kid actually sat down and made this. So I think this is a good thing to do. And I'm going to sit down. I wasn't going to go through and do it on the screen with you, but I last minute changed my mind. So that's why I got on late. I was kind of trying to format that a little bit. So I'm going to try and go through that on the screen, tell you all the information that I feel is necessary. If you have any other information that you want to know if it should be on there, put it in the comments and we'll go through this. All right, let me pull up my screen. Okay, so I kind of got this started. I'm a firm believer on letting the college coach know who you are. So first and foremost, the player is most important, right? So if I'm the player, I'm going to start the top of the resume with my name, okay? Brittany Arduini. If you, depending on how savvy you are in doing things like this or how much you really want them to know what position you might be, you could always add, I'm Brittany Arduini and I'm a setter. Or you could just come down. See, I knew this might happen, but what you'll want to do is you want to add your name and a picture of you, okay? First and foremost, your name and a picture. If you happen to be the same number in school and club, like I was always number 12, I probably would put number 12 next to my name because to me that was my identity in sports. But if you're a different number in both places or you're not the number you think you're going to be for a long time, then don't worry about that. You'll just put that next to your picture. So you're going to start with your name, age, school, birthday, club, graduation year, jersey number. So let's see if I can figure this out. Layout. By the way, I also use a Mac. So this is not Word. This is the Mac version of Word. It's called Pages. So I don't use it very often for formatting things, but whoops. I want to go down. Okay, this is why I didn't want to do this. Anyways, I'll just tell you what I think. And I think that you should start with your name, your picture, and then directly next to your picture so for me to my right, I'm going to put school. So I went to Dulles High School, Let's just try and figure this out. I went to Dulles High School. I played at Willowbrook. I guess it's now A6 Willowbrook, but A6 Willowbrook 17's team. And then what else? I graduated in 2006. My jersey number was number 12, but that's up there. I graduated, my GPA when I graduated was a 3.0, and I was ranked, if you are ranked high in your class, I suggest putting that on there. So if you're like, I don't know, in the top 100 in your class, I would say I'm 22 out of 600, right? My class rank. So you put GPA, graduation year, class rank, school, club team. We can do it like that. However you want to format it, this is kind of how I was thinking. But I would start with all of your information. Okay, so this is about you. Obviously, this is all going to be about you, but then I would come down and I would come down here and write, club experience. And I would write all of my club experience. So from about the time that you turn 14 to the time you graduate is what I would put on there. So if I played 14s at Spike Sport, I would put 14s my 14s team Spike Sport, 15s Willowbrook, what team I was on, 16s Willowbrook, what team I was on, 17s Willowbrook, and then I might put what we were successful at. So if we went to Lone Star Classic and won, I would say first place at Lone Star Classic. This is something that I accomplished in that year. Um, if you don't have anything like that, that's okay. Just put where you played club, what team you were on, and what position you played. So I would also, and here I would put your position. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place. And honestly, that's how I would do it. Perfect. Club experience, 2002 Spike Sport, 14 gold. 2003 Willowbrook, 15 Mizuno or ASIC. 2004 Willowbrook, 16 ASIC. I think that's how you spell it. 2005 Willowbrook, 17 A6. Okay, and might bullet down and say something like Tampa qualifier first place. Junior Olympics, 5th place. And then so forth and so on. So each year, we qualified at a tournament, we would go to Junior Olympics. I would say what our successes were. If you're new, like if you're just starting and you don't have any of that, like I said, it's not that important. It's just if you have something to brag about it. Then I would get into school experience. So, 2003 varsity middle blocker. 2004 varsity middle blocker. And then I would talk about honorable mention to all district team. That kind of stuff. So forth and so on. Okay. I would go through my entire career. Maybe not junior high, but what team were you on? You're starting in your high school career. And then I would talk about my school grades. So they want to know whether you're a good student, mediocre student. They probably don't want to know if you're a bad student, but I'm sure none of you guys are bad students. Everybody I know has great grades. So I would talk about academic accomplishments. And then you could talk about how you were I keep thinking in college you can make the dean's list, but something that's equivalent to that. You're on the honor roll, A, B honor roll, whatever. And then I would talk about school involvement. There we go. And so that would be something like if you're in a club, student council. That's not right? Anyways, it doesn't matter. And make sure that you format it. So if you have a lot of accomplishments, then you're obviously going to want to use a smaller font and you want to make it all one page. Okay. So they want to be able to print this page out and access it whenever they want. And they want to be like, okay, what club did she play for last year? That's right. She was on this team and they did this, they did like this. And then I would also send not separate email, but separate from this document, another document with your club schedule. So you already know all the tournaments you're playing in. I would send them your club schedule with this email, and I would do exactly what Kara said. I would introduce myself. I would tell a story about myself and why you want to go to that school. I would talk directly to the coach. So you are using their name. You're saying, hey, coach Arduini, I love the University of whatever, and I would love to know if I could be a part of your program. Here's a little bit about me, and you can tell a story. I love your school because my mom took me there when I was 10 years old, and we walked the campus and fell in love with the river and this, and that. Whatever. If you don't have a story, don't make something up, but make up like, don't make something up. Just tell something different. So tell a story. Um, but then include this. Here's my resume. I just wanted to be able to provide you this bulleted information about me. And if you have any questions about my club schedule, please let me know. Um, reach out to my club director, Brittany Arduini. She's Brittany at HoustonForceBB.com. And let's send something up to talk on the phone, or I don't know, whatever, something like that. You probably want to put your contact information in here. So another thing that I always recommend is having, if you can, have your name as your email. So everybody should set up, you know, my I have an email when I was being recruited. It was like BrittanyCollins12@gmail.com or Yahoo or Hotmail, whatever. And you want to be able to have your name. You don't always have to have your number, but you want to have your name as your email, because they don't want to have to think about like, oh, well, what was her email again? Oh yeah, I remember how to spell her name. I can just send her an email off the whim. So you have your contact information in there. Include my contact information. If you feel it's necessary, put your coach's contact information, especially on this. And then if it ever changes, so if God forbid you move clubs or you move schools or whatever, make sure you're updating this constantly. So at the end of this club season, you're going to want to put next club seasons on there. And obviously, over the years, it's going to grow and grow and grow. So make sure that you're formatting things so that it still fits on one page, which, you could take all this information that's under club experience and school experience and make it into 2 columns, or I don't know. That's kind of what I would do. I would just put those 2 things next to each other. I would move my academic accomplishments up, talk about my GPA, my class rank, and all of these things. It doesn't have to be super fancy. So don't do like weird fonts, curly cues, nothing like that. You can use nice fonts, but just make it to the point, very bulleted, and let everybody know who you are, okay? Everything else, all of the frou-frou and storytelling, that goes on in your emails, that goes on your social media posts, goes on in your videos. Something that Kara talked about last week that I really liked was she wanted you to keep up with your filming. So every month you should be sending new highlights to your college coaches that you're interested in them seeing you. My thing about that is always make a intro part to the video. Like, hi, my name is Brittany Arduini and I'm number 12 and I set for Houston Force's 16 regional team. I am bringing you these highlights today. These were the tournaments that we played in where I got this footage, and something like that. So, but bring your personality to your emails and to your videos and to your social posts and things like that. So this is very to the point and very nice, compacted, one spot for everything. But then put all your personality and the other stuff. So I hope that makes sense. Do we have any questions on this? Last thing, also export it to a PDF, okay? Never send anybody a Word file or a Pages file because you don't want them to manipulate it in any way. Not that I think they would, but A PDF is a non-editable file format. So you'll just export it to PDF and then send it to them. And every time you update it, do the same thing. Export it to PDF, email it to them. Let them know that this is the updated version of your athlete resume, okay? And, I would even title it something like 2020, 2021 Brittany Arduini resume. And then if you update that and it's still in the same year because something happened, you became president of the student council and you wanted to put that in there, I would do like 2020-2021 updated Brittany Arduini resume and send it so that they know that if they have two in there, they saved it and then they printed it and they saved it on their computer, they'll know that the updated one is the newer one. And then you can always do like updated 2 or updated 3, so that they can keep track of those things. All right. Hey, Keisha, how are you? Do you have any questions about anything on this, on kind of what it should look like? If not, I'm going to get off my screen. Awesome. Okay, so anyways, that is the athlete resume. Again, I think it's a personal preference to teach my athletes to make one. I believe in it. I made one when I was playing. We obviously did things more paper back then, but I do believe that there are still people in the world that prefer paper. So they're going to print this. They're going to mark on it. They might even mark like they would take your schedule, they would print it, and then they'll mark on it and say, I plan on going to this one. Okay, I need to look up this athlete at this one as well as you. And so make sure that you're providing them the ability to do that, or they can just pull it up in their email and look at it online. I I believe in those recruiting websites and profiles and the way to access people like that. The one thing I thought Kara said very well was her program allows you access to learn about the schools, kind of like you can learn the coach's name, their mascot, their emails, all of that stuff without having to do it through their website. So I thought that was really nice, where some websites you want to send coach at Texas State an email, you just type in Texas State and you don't even know Coach Sean's email. You're just sending it to him because that's you don't even know what his real email is. So I like that she provides you that information, because I believe that reaching out personally is going to be more important than just sending through that website. Also, the one thing that I don't know if we addressed too much on, but she talked about talking on the phone, and I'm a huge advocate of that. Get on the phone with these coaches, send this email, and then ask if you can get on their calendar for a phone call. You want to meet them, you want to talk to them, you want to hear their voice, and understand their personality. And so request that you set up a phone meeting and then have them email me to set that up. Or just tell them, hey, I'm going to call you on Friday at 11 a.m. If you're in the office, I'd love to talk to you. If you're not, I'm going to leave you a voicemail and I'll probably call you back. And then when you leave the voicemail, you say, hey, I know it's Friday, you're not in your office, but I'm going to call you back on Monday at 10 a.m. If you could be in your office so we could chat for 5 minutes, that would be great. And I bet you if you do that, they'll be there at 10 a.m. on the next day. Or they'll send me an email and say, hey, your athlete called and said that they want to talk at 10. I'm never in my office at 10. Could you tell them to call me at 3 p.m.? And then, we set something up that way. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. Like, you got to be personable through your emails, through your social posts, through your videos that you're sending to them. But like I said, the resume is very plain and dry. It's nice. It's not too frilly, not too pretty, but you want them to have that information at the tip of their fingers. So that's my thought process on the whole athlete resume. I hope this helped you. Yes, Keisha. And he got recruited, right? So she says that her son used these tactics to be recruited for basketball, and he's playing in college. I know that because she's on my team and we talk about her son all the time. So use these things. If you have any questions, either comment them below in this video or send me an email. My email is Brittany, Brittany, at houstonforcevb.com, and I'm more than happy to help you figure out what you need to do next in your recruiting process. So thank you for joining me. If you're here live again, give me one last thumbs up or a heart, and I will see you next week on Force TV episode 3. I'm bringing in a great friend of mine. His name is Tobias, and he is a master at recruiting and social media. So he is more in the basketball realm, but everything he teaches is like valid across all sports because his specialty is getting recruited and using social media to your advantage. So don't forget, join me next Thursday, and I will see you on Force TV. Thanks. Bye.